Okay, my friends, so now we're gonna go and cover two operators, the membership and the identity operators. And we're gonna start with the first one, the membership operators. In operator. Well, the in operator gonna check whether a value is inside another value. It could be string value, list, or any sequence. So now the syntax for that is very easy, where we say, for example, is the character A exist inside the string data. So we are using the in operator between the two string, and if you read it in English, it's very simple, is A in data. So if you go and execute it, Python gonna take the A and start searching inside the data for a match, and it's gonna find it in the second character. That's why you will get in the output true. So A is inside data. Now sometimes what we can do, we want to check whether it's not inside the data. So we use the operator not just before the in. So again, it's easy in English. Is A not in data? Well, it is false. So the not operator gonna go and switch the reality of the output. Instead of true, you will get false. Now let's have another example where we have, for example, Bara, and then we're gonna check whether it is a member of a list. Don't worry about the list, we're gonna learn about it later. So here we have a list of different people, John, Kumar, Ali. Now again, it is very simple. Is Bara now member of this gang? Well, Python gonna start searching and matching. Bara is not member of this group. That's why we will get false. And now if you go and add the not operator, it's gonna be like this. Is Bara not a member of this list? Well, it is true. He is not part of this group. So that's why the not operator gonna go and switch the output from false to true. As you can see, Python is not that hard, right? It is very friendly. So now let's go and practice a little bit. Okay, so now let's go and do some easy stuff. Like for example, let's go and search for the character O here in the word Python. So let's go and execute it. You will get true. And if you go and get like character like F, is F in Python? Well, it's false. And now of course we can go and add here the not in. So is F not in Python? Well, that's true. So it flips the output. Same thing if you go and make like a list. So let's say that we are checking whether the 3 is member of this list. 1, 2, 3. So if you go and execute it, you will get true because 3 is member of this list. And if you say not member of this list, you will get false. So this is very easy. Now, of course, the question is how to use this in real use cases. Let's say that again, we have a website and we are checking the registration. So once you give your email address, we can easily check the domain, whether it is banned or not. You don't want to register like bad domains, otherwise you're gonna get hacked. Let's say that the domain that the user entered, like gmail.com. So this one is safe. Now, of course, we have to go and create a list of different domains that are banned, or let's say blacklisted. So banned domains equal, and here we make a list. I know we are using a lot of lists, but we're gonna learn that later. So let's say that we have a domain called spam.com, another one fake.org, and the last one pot.net. So now what we want to do is to check whether the domain that entered from the user is not a blacklisted domain. So this is really nice check. So domain not in the banned domains. As you can see, it is very simple and as well secure. Let's go and execute it. Now, as you can see, it is true. So the domain that is provided from the user is safe. Now, let's say that another user goes and enter a domain, spam.com. If you go and execute it, you will get false. Well, this is not allowed to register because this domain is a membership of these bad domains. So as you can see, those expressions, we use it in order to build quality checks and as well security checks. And this is a nice one, right? So that's all about the membership operators. They are very friendly. Let's move to the next group. We have the identity operators. Again, here we have only two, is and is not. They are not that famous like the other groups, but still we have to learn how to work with it because we're going to use it in some scenarios. So let's understand behind the scenes what these operators do. It's gonna check whether two variables are referring to the same object in the memory. So this sounds a little bit complicated. In order to understand it, as usual, we're gonna make sketch about it. So let's see what this means. So you remember on the left side we have our code, and on the right side Python stores our variables in memory. So now let's say in code you created a variable called A, and inside it you have a list 1, 2, 3. Now if you go and execute it, Python gonna go and create something in the memory. So it's gonna store the variable and the values. Now let's say that you created another variable called B, and as well you have the same value 1, 2, 3, a list. So if you execute executed, the same thing gonna happen. Python gonna go and store the data, the values inside the memory. Now the things are not exactly like this in the memory. Actually, we don't have a direct mapping between the variables names and the values. The variables are actually pointing to an ID, to an object ID. So for the first value, it is stored with the object ID 30, and for the second value, we have another ID 40. So by looking to this, that means we have variables, and the variables are pointing to an object, and each object has an ID and value. So that means we are connecting the variables using something called pointers. So this is exactly how it looks in the memory. And now let's go back to our code, and let's say that you are checking, is A equal to B? Well, if you are using the equal operator, you are comparing the values of the two variables. So Python gonna check the values, nothing else. And as you can see, the values are equal. That's why you will get in the output true. But my friend, now if you use the is operator, so you say A is B, so that means we are saying is A has the same identity as B, and if you do it like this, then you are telling Python, go and compare the IDs of the objects. This time we don't care at all about the values, we care about the object ID. Are the IDs equal? Well, if you look to this, we have here two different IDs, 30 and 40, and they are not equal. That's why you will get false. So here, my friend, we are checking with the is operator whether the two variables are pointing to the same object in the memory. We are not comparing the values. If you want to compare the values, go and use the equal operator. But wait, we are not done yet. Things get more complicated. If you go and create simple values in the memory, like you say A is equal to 5 and B is equal to 5. So now if you go and execute it, what's gonna happen? Python gonna check your values and say, okay, the 5 is a very simple value. I don't have to go and create two different objects for it. I can create one object, and with that I'm saving memory, and it is really easy to handle. So Python gonna create an object with the value 5, and as well each object has an ID, like for example 98. And now what's gonna happen, since those two variables are having the same value, it's gonna go and point those two variables to the same objects. So that means we have two variables, one ID and one value. Now if you check back our code, we have A is equal to B. Well, here we are comparing the values, you will get anyway true. But this time if you say, is A the same object as B? Python this time gonna go and check the ID and gonna say, actually both of the variables are pointing to the same objects. So both of the variables having the same ID, the 89. That's why this time you will get true. So this is actually how it works. If you have multiple variables with a very simple values, Python gonna go and create one object for them, and all the variables gonna be pointing to the same objects. And if you use the is operator, you will get true. But if you have complex values, Python gonna go and store them in different objects, and if you use the is operator, you will get false. So I hope this is clear, and now we're gonna go and practice. Okay, so now let's have a very simple example where we create a list of characters like A and then B and C. And now we're gonna go and copy the whole thing, but we store it now in different variable. Now my friend, if you go and say is X equal Y, and then print this in the output, you will get true. Yes, we are comparing the values, and this is completely true. But now if you say and use the is operator between those two variables, you will get false, because Python gonna go and create for each value a separate object, and they have separate IDs. So here we are comparing the IDs using the is operator, and the equal gonna compare the values. Now if you go and copy the whole thing and use an easy value like 10 and here 10, then let's go and execute, you will get true and true, because Python gonna go and optimize it and put those two variables or the values of the variables in one object. So they're gonna have the same ID and as well the same value. That's why you are getting for both true. Okay, so now there is one more thing about the assignments. Let's say that we are saying X is equal to this list, but now for Y we don't repeat the same thing. We say simply Y gonna be equal to whatever value X has. Now what's gonna happen, Python will not go and create for the Y new objects. All what it's gonna do, it's gonna go and point it to the same object for the X. So you're gonna have again those two variables pointing to the same objects. If you go and execute it, you will get get true and true this time, because for the Y, Python is not creating new objects. Now, I was thinking about when we're gonna use this in projects. Let's say that we have the following example. We are doing some data quality where we are checking whether the email exists and it is not empty. So let's say that we have an email, and now we have to check whether the user gave any email address. Like for example, let's say the user didn't enter anything like blank, and now we can go and check something like this where we say the email should not be blank. So this is our rule, and if you go and print this, so you will get false. This is not allowed. This should not be the case. But now if you go and give any value, any email, and execute it, you will get true. So this is okay. But now sometimes in Python, it could be like this, none. So the user did not give anything. And of course, this is different than the blank. This is nothing. Now, if you go and execute it, so now as you can see, we are getting true. This is not really good because we don't have actually an email. This is nothing. And in Python, none is not equal to blank. That's why this is not enough. We have to go and build another condition is not equal to none, like this. And of course, we have to go and connect those two conditions. So what we're going to do, we're going to go and use the AND operator. So if you go and execute it, you will get false because this condition here is false and this one here is true. So true and false, you will get false. Now you might say, okay, but what has this to do with the is operator? Well, there is like special use case for the none operator where you're going to see the developers in codes, they never use the not equal or the equal operator with the none. They always use the is operator. So in this case, for example, they say the email is not none. Well, you might ask, but the not equal and the equal works. You are totally correct, this works, but this is like best practices. It is better to use the is or the is not with the special value none. Well, the reason behind that, it is a little bit complicated. We'll not deep dive into that. Well, what I think about it, it is just a habit from SQL, because in SQL, you are not allowed to use the equal operator with the nulls, and the developers are used to use is and is not with the null operator, and they brought it here to Python. So if they are dealing with a null, or let's say here none, they don't use the operator equal, they use the is operator. And to be honest, I do this mistake a lot. I say is not null, not none, because I'm used to SQL. And that's why you will find a lot of developers use the is none and the is not none. But if you go and use the equal, your code can work. So that's it about the is operator. Okay, friends, so that's all about the identity operators. We have covered all the tools that we have inside the Boolean expressions. So we learned all those Boolean functions and the many operators that we have, like the comparison operator to check values, the logical operators to combine conditions, membership operator to check if something exists, and the identity operators to check the memory references. So together, these kind of gives us all what we need to build and write powerful conditions. And now it's time to put all these in use, and we're gonna go to the second section where we're gonna learn about the statements of the control flow.